In the political world, if you don't plus one vote is as good as none, right? So come here to the U.S., the campaigns are very uninspiring. That applies to both ball sacks and presidential candidates.
Before we get started with this amazing episode, we got to give a big shout out to Open Fortune, the sponsor of today's episode, which is making today possible. Open Fortune flipped the fortune cookie on its head by giving marketers a chance to reach consumers where they can burn their brand into the parades of consumers at 47,000 restaurants. That's more than McDonald's, KFC, Wendy's combined, putting branded content on the back of fortunes where consumers are thinking about their future. They've worked with companies like Manscape, who we're having on today and excited to chat about that one, as well as ZipRecruiter, Zelle, Duolingo, and many more. So shout out to Open Fortune for making today possible. Today, we're excited to have Marcelo Kertesz, the Chief Marketing Officer of Manscaped, with us. Marcelo's journey is a masterclass in creativity, strategy, and brand building. He kicked off his career as an art director at Lou Lara and then moved on to DM9DDB before becoming a managing partner and creative director at Duda Propaganda. There, he crafted and executed marketing and creative strategies, leading a team of 20 creatives and overseeing production and media strategy. Marcelo then took on the role of creative VP at Africa Propaganda, where he led online and offline creative strategies for brands like Budweiser, P&G, and Suzuki Motors. After that, he transitioned to VP of Strategy, Branding, and Design at DeFi Design, while also founding Mitizo, a coffee brand aimed at redefining the coffee experience through a vibrant Brazilian lens, making coffee more than just fuel, but a social and fun ritual full of rhythm and warmth. In 2020, Marcelo joined Manscaped as the SVP of Content, Brand Design, and Brand Design before stepping into the role of Chief Marketing Officer in August 2022. Manscaped, a brand that's become synonymous with men's grooming, has revolutionized the market by making conversations around self-care not just acceptable, but also entertaining and engaging. Marcelo has been pivotal in expanding the brand's reach and enhancing its bold, humorous, and inclusive identity. With a degree in marketing from ESPM and a degree in industrial and product design from the New School, Marcelo brings a unique blend of creativity and strategic expertise that's driving Manscaped to new heights. Marcelo, you got to tell me, man, like, how did you get here? What fueled that year off? Something that I find, like with all amazing leaders, right, including like, I'll give a shout out to a past podcast guest and who is my best boss was AJ Vaynerchuk, Gary's brother. He knew what he didn't know, right, and he was able to trust, right. You know, you realized at some point that you needed another degree from the New School, and I found it fascinating that you went back to school after you had a very, very successful career from the outside looking in, right? And that's part of knowing what you might not know. Why was going to the new school and getting a degree in industrial and product design the right move? And what do you bring from that into? Like stay curious, Steve Jobs, Marcelo Kertesz underneath it. Sure. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And the best way to know you know something in and out is to teach it. So that's a good full circle moment. What did you want to be when your initial teachers started asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's kind of full circle. Was there a moment when you realized that you're actually good at the visual arts, right? Because again, it's not for everybody. Yeah, and over time, right? You've been in this field for a while now. Like, how have you seen the technology, right? You always have to be continuing your education, right? How have you done that throughout your career that's kept you so successful? Was there any ever like a moment, especially in the beginning, right, where you were like pushing back on AI, right? I think the way that you're describing it is similar to how I view it, right? It's like that Henry Ford quote: "If I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses," right? And I think it'll be the people that use AI well and ride that horse or drive that car to propel their marketing careers. But was there ever any hesitance going in, or was it just like let's use this? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, just to be that tech forward mindset is amazing. I want to take it back to, your ad agency days, right? Um, when you're leading and winning the pitch for Procter and Gamble, right? Old Spice, Gillette, Budweiser, P&G, right? What, what did you learn from that experience, right? How are decisions done and how is the work communicated? Yeah. What? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I want to jump into that, right? And I find it fascinating that while, in the agency world, you also picked up your own work in the political sphere, and partly potentially because your dad was in that world, and you were able to see, you know, how much I believe that there's, especially back then, probably there was a lot of innovation that was able to happen, right? That you were able to bring from your ad agency days into this work. But what were some of the main differences and similarities between working with a PNG and a political campaign? Here, yeah. I love that analogy of just training at higher altitude and bringing that into your work with what you're doing with Manscaped and all the brands that you've worked with, including the political campaigns. Quick side note too, which is funny, like the first fortune cookie advertisement was actually made in 1968. If RFK, Bobby Kennedy, before he got assassinated, he was running fortune cookie ads in Chinese restaurants throughout the country. So that was actually where the birth of it came. And that leads to my next question, right? For brands, right, there are some legal ramifications, right? But especially in political landscape, it's almost, I want to compare it to like pharma, at least what I know about it, right? Where like there are such legal uh, guidelines that you have to stand by, that almost a lot of the political marketing that I see is very, very similar. How are you able to push creativity while staying in the boundaries of legal? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was just in Mexico for a few months, and it's so interesting just from a marketer's lens to see all the campaigns that were going on because they looked exactly the same. Like everything was almost identical. So it was just interesting. But it's great to see that in Brazil, right? That more creativity is shining through. One last thing just about this political marketing, because I find it so fascinating, right? You write in your LinkedIn that you had a good ride, winning 6 out of the 7 that elections that you participated in. What was the X factor? Like what made the X factor being like what made those campaigns successful from a marketing lens? Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing that the art of marketing can transcend political campaigns to shaving down under with the same principles. So I appreciate you putting them hand in hand. Yeah, yeah, we can make that up. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk quickly just about like your coffee biz, right? You created Mestizo in 2018. In 2018, the coffee space, right, is pretty saturated already, right? There's a lot of good brands. There's a lot of I forget what do they call it, like the third coffee or whatever, right? Where it's like Starbucks, then et cetera, right? Um, so what made it the right time to enter that market, and what was the differentiating factor? Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. 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 It's like me. Like I read the Brooklyn hipster with Yeah, I get it. Right. It is beautiful. I checked out the design. I really love it. Absolutely. So I want to get into Manscaped a little bit. So you end up going from, like you said, political campaigns to shaving balls. What made that the right move for you? Yeah. And how do you evaluate new ideas, especially ones that like push the status quo, like fortune cookie marketing with us? Yeah, sure. And what impressed you most about that campaign, as well as just like other campaigns that really push the status quo and kind of uh, just try something completely different that isn't boring and still. Yeah, yeah, and I think you guys do that really, really well, right? And I think that also comes from empowering people like Joey and VPs of marketing. But how do you go about making decisions, right? Whether the founder's involved, you're involved, right? Or like empowering, not junior, right? He's a senior VP, but below you level employees to bring creativity and not just bottleneck things that might be different and get shot down on arrival. something that, the marketers that I love talking to most, and it's probably because I have a similar background, is you started in the creative lens, right? A lot of CMOs come from a lot of mostly not a creative lens, which I find interesting. How do you bring that skill set into what you're doing at Manscaped, and how did you get the trust of the CEO or whoever you needed, right, to explain that, maybe not your traditional CMO is for this brand, right, but somebody who has more of a creative lens and has been focused on narrative and content is more important than somebody, who's been a growth marketer their whole entire life? Yeah. I got one more question, then we'll go right into the quick question round to get you out of here. With just, I want to talk a little bit more about, we didn't talk at all about your personal life. We talked a lot about career, but like, I really like to ask this question to all people, but what is something that you're most proud of in your personal life as well? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I think that's a great place to start wrapping this up. Thank you, Marcelo. Person you'd most want to sit down to dinner with, dead or alive? I love that. Favorite city in the world? Yeah, there you go. Is it okay to sleep with socks on? Best spot to eat in Encinitas? There you go. There you go. I'd love that. You're the first guest to say my house out of like hundreds of people. Uh, in 40 years from now, what will people be nostalgic for? Top three CMOs, CEOs right now. No, no, love it. What? Sorry. What's the worst advice you've ever been given? That's a good one. I, I thought that was like once you see a good leader in action, you realize that that's not the case. What's one thing that you want to be known for? In one sentence, how do you sum up the internet? Do you have a favorite book that you'd recommend to everybody? Amazing. I gotta check her out. I don't know Portuguese, but I'll see if there's some translation. Who's somebody you think should hop on this podcast? Oh, all good. You could get back to me. And then in 10 years, where can we catch you, Marcelo? Amazing. Amazing, Marcelo. We'll catch you creating. Thanks so much for hopping on the show, man. That was awesome. Good to meet you.